This is the flip lesson on finding the volume in a rectangular prism. Volume is the capacity a three-dimensional object holds. Think of it as the actual milk in a glass, or the actual salad dressing you pour on a salad. The method for finding volume in rectangular prisms is multiplying the length, the width, and the height together. Since all of these operations are multiplication, it does not matter the order of how you multiply because of the commutative property. Another way of doing this that you also need to be aware of is volume equals base times height. This is because in a prism, when they are telling you the base is a 3, it already has length and width measured. So it's the shaded base, or the bottom, times how tall it is. So that's where the BH comes from. For example, a given prism has a height of 7, a width of 12, and a length of 14. What is its volume? The product of 7 times 12 times 14 is 1,176 centimeters cubed. The unit is cubed because the measurement is three-dimensional. Sixth graders are expected to find volume just like the previous example, except for the measurements come in the form of either improper fractions or mixed numbers. You are also expected to calculate how many tiny cubes could fit inside a prism. It sounds complicated, but all you need to do is multiply fractions. Here's an example. This cube has the following dimensions: 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 5/6 inches. Inside the prism are little cubes that have a length of 1/4 of a centimeter. What is the volume of the prism, and how many little cubes can fit inside it? This question is asking two things. The first is, what is the prism's volume, and how many little cubes fit inside it? The first step is to calculate the volume of the prism. Let's look at the measurements again. 3/4 times 1 3/4 times 5/6. When you multiply fractions, there is no need for common denominators and finding equivalent fractions, so you can skip this step. Personally, I find multiplying mixed numbers to be easier if I convert them to improper fractions. Here's my equation. 3/4 times 7/4 times 5/6. To multiply, I'm going to multiply all the numerators together, followed by multiplying all of the denominators together. 3 times 7 times 5 equals 105. 4 times 4 times 6 is 96. My answer is 105 over 96 units cubed. But there's no need to simplify this just yet. Now I need to calculate the volume of the little cubes. If it's a cube, it means that all the faces are square, which also means all the measurements are identical. One length was 1/4. To find the volume of this, I'm going to multiply 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. That's also like saying 1/4 to the third power. And that answer is 1/64. To figure how many little cubes fit inside the prism, the volume of the prism will be divided by the volume of the little cube. Then follow the rule you've learned about dividing fractions. 105 over 96 times 64 over 1. That's the reciprocal of 1/64. This gives me 6,720 over 96, which can be simplified all the way down to 70. This means that 70 little cubes fit inside the prism, and the volume of the prism, which originally was 105 over 96, can be simplified to 1 3/32 units cubed. Now you try some questions. Calculate the volume of each rectangular prism first, and then calculate how many little cubes fit inside it. Pause the video, work out your questions, and then unpause it to get your answers. And here are the answers to those questions. Here's the next set. Calculate first the volume of each cube, and then calculate how many little cubes fit inside the big one. Again, pause, and then hit play again to find out your answers. And here are the answers to your questions. If you have any questions, please ask me in class.